Hey YouTube, it's Cross1990, and today I have another Sorcery TCG deck. This time it is Geomancer, and this is a certain type of video where the last one I did was a competitive deck. This one is a more casual take on a competitive deck that is currently out in the meta. And if you don't know what deck it is, it's basically a deck that revolves around Roots of Yggdrasil and controlling the board. And typically it runs a seer to try and filter into the roots wherever I put it. Here it is. But I love Geomancer. It's one of my favorite avatars in the game. And this avatar can actually recover very well from a Roots of Yggdrasil. Seeing it blows up everything, blows up sites. And when sites are destroyed, they turn into rubble. Geomancer can then turn that rubble into sites a lot more efficiently than any other avatar in the game. So I thought it was very fitting. And typically the Roots of Yggdrasil decks are Earth and Fire for Scorched Earth. And then they run stuff like Slumbering Giantess and Deserts to wake it up, and so on and so forth. But this is just a mono Earth deck. There is no Philosopher's Stone, no cores, none of that stuff. In fact, this deck is incredibly cheap to buy. I think the most expensive card in here is probably Mirror Realm, Roots of Yggdrasil, and where is it? Gigantism. So other than that, everything is it's very cheap. So anyway, let's go over the avatar first, in case those don't know it. This is one of the ones that comes in the starter deck box of 4 avatars. 20 health, 1 attack, same as usual. Tap the player, draw a site, and if you play an Earth site, you can fill a void adjacent to you with rubble. Keep that in mind. There are a fair amount of Earth sites here, though there are a lot of just neutral sites as well. And then you can also tap to replace an adjacent rubble with the topmost side of your atlas. That is how you recover from Roots of Yggdrasil blowing up. You don't need to spend time, tapping to draw sites and then tapping to play them, or keeping sites in your hand to then play them afterwards. You can just simply tap it and start filling up your adjacent stuff. Move, next turn, tap, start filling up other stuff. So Geomancer is very efficient, and it is, I don't want to say it's ramp. It's just late game kind of card advantage, if you want to think of it that way. So since this is a Atlas heavy themed deck, we'll go over the Atlas first. Though there is a strategy in the deck that also ties with the Atlas that I'll get to later. So to start things off, we have Pillar of Zeros. Very simple. Genesis. Just, banish all dead minions from cemeteries. Gain a life for each one banished. So just some late game stability. Rift Valley, we have 2 of them. It's an Earth site. And when you play it, you can basically move stuff to make room for it if those things can move. So you can kind of position the other strategy that we have in here. If you, were unfortunate with how you drew them and had to misplace them, this can kind of fix those mistakes. Next, we have 3 Secret Tunnel. This is a burrow-heavy deck, so we want a site that works with burrow stuff. And being able to get back here or whatever more efficiently is always good. This is the first site of the other kind of theme we have, which is building a wall. This deck wants to build a wall with its Atlas and then deliver some certain cards that are in the Spellbook that I'll get to when we get to the Spellbook. Basically, Gnome Hollows is it's an Earth site. Units with 3 or more power cannot enter this site. So no Earth, like Avatar Earth, no Battle Mage, no Found Axes or the Slumbering Giantesses, like any of the big beefy units, they're not getting in here. Park your Avatar on here with another card that we have in the deck underneath it. Your Avatar is going to be pretty safe outside of projectile type stuff. And then finally, for our Earth sites, we have 3 Bedrock. Bedrock is really good with Yggdrasil because Yggdrasil cannot blow them up. So yeah, they can't be destroyed, moved, altered, whatever. It's a very stubborn Earth card, and it's very, very good when running a Roots of Yggdrasil type combo. And speaking of, here's Roots of Yggdrasil. Simply says when it's destroyed, destroy everything. That's everything but avatars. All units, or all minions, artifacts, auras, sites, all of it destroyed. and when sites are destroyed, they create rubbles, which is, again, how Geomancer gains all that advantage. Part of the wall package that we have in here is Great Wall. Basically, enemy ground minions cannot move through the site's top border. Avatars can, but minions can't, as long as they aren't flying or whatever. Mirror Realm, it basically, when you play it, you copy an adjacent or a nearby site. So ideally, you want to copy like Great Wall, Bedrock, or Gnome Hollows. Typically what you want to do. Dome of Osiris, this is another new card I got, and with this purchase, with it was like this unique and a couple others, I now actually own all of beta Sorcery, so awesome to me. Took quite a while. Glad it's only one set a year, because it took damn near a year to get everything. But this is also kind of like a pseudo wall as well. This site and minions here can't be attacked. Your avatar can still be attacked and targeted, all that good stuff, but it's another site that your opponent can't like enter into and then attack. So pseudo wall, but not really, but kind of. Next we have 2 Sinkle. Basically sacrifice it to destroy or you destroy it in a nearby site. Ideally we want to be blowing up roots of Yggdrasil, but you can use it to pop off some key sites your opponent have. And to round off the Atlas deck, we have 2 Crossroads. Again, one of my favorite cards in the game. I cannot understate this enough. Get probably 2 to 3 play sets of this card. Put them in every Atlas. There's no reason why you shouldn't be playing Crossroads. This card's great. It's the closest thing we have to a fetch land for those that are familiar with Magic. Basically, when you play it, you look at your next 4 sites, put 3 of them on the bottom. So you get to kind of filter what site you're going to draw next. Ideally, you want to be filtering for roots of Yggdrasil. Now we'll go into the Spellbook, and I'll start off with the minions as soon as I can separate them from everything else, because there's a decent chunk of them. Play 2 wraetannis Titan, 7-drop, 6 power, Genesis, strike each enemy here. Basically just a defensive card. It's also our endgame finisher. Though keep in mind, you can only play minions to your sites, so you want to play this ideally when your opponent has stuff on your sites. Play this, wipe it clean, and then retaliate back next turn with the 6-power minion. Playing 3 copies of Frontier Settlers. I freaking love this card. Again, it's like a mini Pathfinder. It's a 2-cost, double threshold, so keep that in mind, 1 power. And it can tap. You reveal your topmost side of your Atlas, put it to an adjacent site to this, and then moves there, and then loses its ability. So it literally finds a home, builds it, and then it settles. So it's so thematic. It's so good. Love this card. Start off our burrow minions. We are playing 3 Root Spider. This card's great. Arguably the best burrow minion in the game currently. 3 cost, 1 threshold, 2 power, burrowing. And while burrowed, minions directly above it are disabled. So ideally, you want to put this underneath a Gnome's Hollow. Put your avatar on Gnome's Hollow. You're pretty much good to go. Your opponent has to play spells to like burn damage you out. Otherwise, there's just no way. Unless they get like their like 1 power avatar and then like have an avatar like kind of duke out, it ain't gonna happen. It's a very good protection for this deck. Playing 3 of these gnome dudes. I really just do not know how to pronounce that name. It's like some German or Dutch word, which is unfortunate because I am German and Dutch. Took a lot of German in high school. That was a long time ago. But gneissgnath, gnomes, I don't really know how to pronounce that. Either way, 1 cost, 1 power, 1 threshold, burrowing. At the end of your turn, these gnomes can burrow. So they get a free burrow action if need be. These are typically what I would use to deliver like some of the cards that we have later in the Atlas that I won't spoil just yet. And to round out the burrow minions, we have some beef for the deck. It is cave trolls with their big schnozzes. 3 cost, 1 threshold, 3 power, burrowing. Pretty simple. This is just a kind of a beat stick minion for the deck that fits the burrowing theme. And to round out the minions for this deck, one of the better ones in the game currently is Land Surveyor. 2 cost, 1 threshold, 1 power, Genesis, draw a site. Again, we're using this to draw roots of Yggdrasil or bedrocks or whatever to create our walls. It's just a very, very good card. If you're playing Earth, you're more than likely playing that card. Next, we'll go over all of the artifacts. Let me see if I got them all separated. All right. So we have a good chunk of artifacts in the deck. Start things off, I am playing Pendulum of Peril, because again, it fits the wall theme. And for those of you that play Dark Souls, this is this is like the embodiment of Sen's Fortress. My gosh, that was so annoying my first playthrough. But it's a 6-cost artifact, it's a monument. And at the end of each player's turn, this card kills all minions at its current location and another adjacent location of that player's choice. See, like, long story short, you play this here. At the end of your turn, you're going to kill everything here, and then you pick one of the adjacent sites. It thematically swings that way and kills everything there, and then it swings back. And then on your opponent's turn, it'll kill everything here, and then they get to choose which one. Let's say they choose here. It'll then swing this way, kill everything there, and then swing back. So it's literally penduluming back and forth, just slaughtering everything that crosses its path. Fits the wall theme very good, in my opinion. And it definitely brought back some Vietnam flashbacks of Sen's Fortress. Now, the next 5 cards all fit the wall theme, and if you didn't already guess, it's pretty telling for those that are familiar with the game. Doomsday Device, Devil's Egg, and Angel's Egg. So the whole point of this deck is to keep Angel Eggs on your side of the wall and give your opponent the Devil's Eggs and Doomsday Device on the other side of the wall. And then you want to keep them on the opposite sides of the wall. So just make sure that they can't bring them back, and you don't want them to steal these from you. So what exactly do these cards do? Well, Doomsday Device is one of the finishers in the deck. It's the main finisher of the deck. It is a 4-cost artifact, has this insane damage grid with 20 damage in the center. And basically, when you play this, it has 6 counters on it, right? Yeah, 6 counters. And at the end of each player's turn, it'll remove a counter, so on, so forth. And when the last counter is removed, it detonates and it does damage on that grid, 20 being where it is at. So you want to play this, keep it on your side of the wall for a few turns, get some of those counters down, and then you want to get a minion, burrow with it, and then run with it, and then deliver it to them. Or you can, move it around, drop it, move it back, make it hard for your opponent to, deal with it, so on, so forth. And yeah, that's kind of like the main kill con of the deck. And then next we have Devil's Egg. It is a 3-cost artifact, and it simply says at the end of each turn, the controller of Devil's Egg's site loses 1 life. So we want to be sitting there, pinging our opponent to death with Devil's Eggs, dropping them off on their opponent's location, making it impossible for them to bring it back on the other side of the wall. Its counterpart is Angel Egg. Same exact thing, except the controller of the site gains life. So we want to keep these on our side of the wall, gaining our life up. You can't go past your maximum, which is 20, which you're going to be losing life in this game anyway, but yeah, it stabilizes you. While you're gaining life, your opponent is losing life. And then to round out the artifacts, I don't really think this card's great, but I think it's thematically fun and flavorful. And for those of you that saw a previous upload, I only had 1 of these, and yeah, I was bad and had 4 of these. I'm sorry. I thought this was ordinary. Cards like Grapple Shot are ordinary, but this is exceptional. So, yeah, my bad on that. But anyway, I added a 2nd copy of Buried Treasure because it's very fun. Basically, when you play it, your opponent chooses a site that you control. It then goes under that location buried, and then whoever brings it to the surface can get rid of it to draw 2 cards. It's a lot of work to draw 2 cards. But this is a bury kind of themed deck, so Buried Treasure makes sense to me. Next is all of these spells. Again, why is this exceptional but Grapple Shot's ordinary? I don't know. Anyway, I thought this was ordinary for the longest time, but yeah, I really need to read the card. So anyway, starting off with the spells, this is another card I purchased along with Gigantism that completed my collection. And yeah, Star Seeds of was hands down made for Geomancer and pretty much nothing else. It's a 1-cost spell, 1 threshold, fill up to 13 voids with rubble. So you get rid of the void stuff. It's really good against the void heavy decks. Yeah, and then you can just save the cards in your hand for some other cards we have in here like craterize. And yeah, you can just start using Geomancer's ability to fill those rubbles with sites. Next, we have Gigantism. It is a 4-cost card, double threshold. This is seen in a lot of competitive decks for a very big reason. It's in Battle Mage if they're running Earth, which is more of like the mid-rangey versions of Battle Mage. It's also in Avatar Earth. All it says is give an allied unit, so your avatar can get this too, +6 power until end of turn. So you can just play this and completely just donk on something, like make a little dude trade up with a big guy for the cost of 1-2 cards maybe. Yeah, totally worth it. Put it on your avatar to put your opponent's avatar on death's door if you really want to be thematic with it. Yeah, card's great. Card's very, very good. Next, we're playing 2 craterize. This is another late game finisher of the deck. If you wanted to, you could trim this down to 1 copy. You don't necessarily need 2 of these, but I like having more options to blow up Roots of Yggdrasil, which this is one of the cards that does it. 8 cost, 2 threshold, has this crazy damage grid on it with the 10 being in the center, 10 being the site that you destroy. As an additional cost to cast it, you discard a site, which we'll have no problem having. And you destroy the targeted site and deal damage to each unit above or below a site in the area of effect. So it blows everything up. Buried stuff on top, submerged stuff, it's all getting damaged. And it does a lot of damage. So yeah, I have killed many an avatar with craterize. I have also been killed many a time by craterize. It just happens. I don't know how else to explain it. Next, we're playing one of the better removal spells in the game, arguably one of the best ones. It is Earthquake. It's one of the reasons why people run Earth on top of like Land Surveyor. 5 cost, double threshold, rearrange sites within a 2x2 area, so 4 sites, 2 on top, 2 on bottom, or 2 on left, 2 on right, whatever. Everything on those sites get moved with those sites, and then it burrows everything on those sites. So we get rid of all of our, opponent's minions. Our stuff that has burrowing can get burrowed. We can move our devil's eggs like over, make them easier, and then they're already burrowed, so our minions can then move and then re-burrow them somewhere else. It's good. Also, being able to rearrange your sites, fix your wall, because it's not going to be a perfect wall every game. So this is a good way to kind of flip-flop, make things work. Same with like Rift Valley. Since this is a Earth deck, we're playing one of the better Earth spot removals, which is Bury, and it simply is a 3-cost card, 1 threshold, 1 threshold. Sorry. You burrow target minion or artifact if able. It doesn't require nearby or adjacent or 2 steps away. You just pick anything that is on a non-water site. Boom, bury it. If it doesn't have burrow, it's destroyed. So, very good. And then, yeah, to round the deck off, Minecart Madness. I still can't believe this is an exceptional. I went this whole time thinking that maybe I knew this was an exceptional at one point. I thought this was ordinary for some reason. Again, Grapple Shot is ordinary. And it's better than this card, in my opinion. But anyway, I digress. 2 cost, 1 threshold, and it says this turn your units can move between any sites in a chosen span of land as if they were adjacent. So giving your eggs or your bomb to a dude and then flying it across to, a board and dropping it off and kind of suicide itself. That's what this is in here for. And yeah, it's a good card. I think later on, Minecart Madness will probably get swapped out for something else once we get, more sets like Arthurian Legends when it comes out, which spoilers have been awesome. I cannot wait for the unique tri-sites. Those are super cool. We've seen one so far. I'm assuming there's going to be a whole rotation of them. Be a little weird if they didn't do that. But yeah, Minecart Madness, deliver your bomb or your egg, call it good. And yeah, that is the deck. Sorry, I've said a lot this video, but this is the second time I've been doing this video today. But this deck is a ton of fun, and it is a casual, more, I would say, fun, flavorful take on a very competitive deck that is stomping around in the meta a lot. Again, typically it runs Seer, and it's like Earth, Fire, maybe splashing air for some removal and some other stuff. And all it does is just blow the board up, and then over time, you will recover from it better than your opponent, and when that happens, you will kill your opponent. This deck has a similar kind of playstyle to it, but again, it uses the Doomsday device and the eggs to stabilize, and then it's got some fun cheeky cards in here as well. So anyway, that is the deck. If you're new, yeah, I said again. If you're new to this game and you're looking for a fun, thematic, and what I would consider to be a pretty good deck to build, and you don't have the starter deck set, which buy the starter decks, you get 4 of them for 40 bucks. They're great decks. You get a lot of good cards. One of the best starter products in any card game I've ever played. Anyway, if you don't have those, just buy this deck. Like, go on TCG Player, buy this deck. It, I don't know, maybe cost you like 30 bucks. Maybe. Just thinking off the top of my head. Most of this deck is ordinaries and exceptionals. Like, there are uniques, but they're not expensive. Yeah, like, I think Gigantism, Roots of Yggdrasil, and Mirror Realm are the most expensive cards in here. Like, I bought this card for like $1. It's a unique. Bought it for $1. So, yeah. Go out and buy this deck and tell me what you think. If you have fun with it, let me know. If you have any suggestions for this deck, let me know in the comments down below. And to the person who corrected my mistake in my other video, thank you a ton. I greatly appreciate it. You help me catch myself from making me look like a moron, even though I kind of do that on my own on a daily basis as it is. But yeah, here's my Geomancer deck. Again, if you try it, let me know. Any suggestions, again, let me know. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. See ya.